Hey guys, happy Sunday. This is Candy from Christ for Metal, and I'm here to do scripture breakdown. So I will jump right into it. The scripture for today is 1 Peter chapter 3, verse 18, and it says, "For Christ also suffered once for sins, the righteous for the unrighteous, that he might bring us to God, being put to death in the flesh, but made alive in the spirit." And I really wanted to tie this scripture into letting you know that there is purpose in your pain. A lot of times we go through situations and we're just like, God, I can't do this. Take me out of this. I don't care. I don't want to go through this pain. I don't want to go through this suffering. But God tells us, my grace is sufficient. And we could see a good example of that when Jesus was praying before the crucifixion, and he asked the Father in Luke 22:42, "Father, if you are willing, take this cup from me, yet not my will, but yours be done." I mean, even Jesus was like, please get me out of this. I don't want to go through this. I don't want to suffer. That is so relatable, right? But we know at the end that he did end up going through it because there was such a great purpose, which was to offer salvation to humanity. Imagine if he would have never gone through that. What would have happened to humanity as a whole, right? So if we look at that, we can look at our lives and say, well, there's a purpose in what I'm going through, because as a child of God, God has made me with a purpose. And everything, good or bad, that I go through has a purpose to make me better or to make others better. So I just want to encourage you to look within your situation, even when you're going through it. And one of the most powerful things we can do is testify. Testify how good God has been, how he's getting us through it to others, because you never know whose life you can save, whose life you can affect just by offering an encouragement. Just as Jesus was a light to us through his deep suffering, we can be a light to others through our deep suffering. Whether we've gone through it and we're in the light now, we're like, this is how God did it, this is where my victory is, or whether you're still going through it, hey, I'm going through the storm, but God's grace, God's faithfulness is getting me through it. And how it's getting you through it, you testify about that, and you just never know whose life you will touch. So I just want to encourage you. There is a purpose in what you're going through. You are a purpose-filled being. So understand that God is working in you. He's molding you, and that everything is going to work out for good for the purpose of those who are called and love him. So continue walking on this race. I know it may be tough, but God's grace is sufficient, and continue sharing the gospel with those around you. So if you need any prayer requests or need any kind of support, you can always reach out to me. And I just want to thank you guys for joining me, and hopefully I will see you next week.